Hi, my name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker.
And I'm Timothy Linsdau, video producer and a Christian.
Today we're going to cover the third part of our three-part series of overcoming self-doubt.
Overcome that self-doubt.
This is our third part of our three-part series on overcoming self-doubt. Thank you very much for watching. If you wouldn't mind, please click the subscribe button below and also leave us a comment to let us know how we're doing and give us some feedback to let us know, like, hey, could you do this or that video? We'd greatly appreciate it.
Yes, we would appreciate that.
So let's get right into these last 10 tips we have on overcoming self-doubt. The first one is examine the evidence. Look at what you're actually presented in the data you have versus the thoughts that are churning in your mind. Last night I had a bunch of trouble sleeping. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I think I finally realized in the morning it was just something I was working on yesterday. And man, it was killing me. But I was so wrapped up in, this isn't quite right and blah, blah, blah. Then this morning I wake up, I look at the evidence of what I was doing. It was perfectly fine. Oh, gosh. And I didn't get to sleep till midnight. Now I'm one of those guys that likes to go to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock if possible. But my mind kept stewing over this thing and stewing over this thing. And my mind kept stewing over this on and on. It just wouldn't let me get past it. It was driving me nuts. So I looked at the evidence and I realized, oh, geez, that was totally junk. You've never had that happen, right?
Yeah. Okay, figure out your needs. Now, what's that about?
Ooh.
You know, the thing is, we want all kinds of things.
Oh, gosh.
Many times things we don't want for real. But let's talk about needs. You need things. You need food, water, shelter, clothing, basic stuff of life. And those are your needs. Figure out what your needs are, what you specifically need. Then once you get that smoothed out, you know what your needs are, you can relax. You've got them covered. Yeah. If you need to make your life a little simpler, do that. And move forward. But if you're constantly wanting things maybe you can't afford, and you're going to get yourself in debt, and you create more trouble for yourself, think about the needs. Get those established. And they're not only material things, but like things we're talking about here. Do you need to improve yourself some way? Do you need to know more about something? Work on those things, the things that you need to do.
Now that brings us to our next point of do good or well even when you don't feel great. Now as a motivational speaker, I've got to be on stage in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people, and they're all eyeballs on me, and they want me to do a great job so they feel good about the experience. Sometimes I might have flown all night, I wake up, I've got a headache, I'll take some ibuprofen or whatever to get me past it. And I remember listening to this one speaker. I'm part of a National Speakers Association. And this one lady asked, well, what if you don't feel great that day? And the person doing the facilitating the discussion said, look, bring your A game, whatever your A game is that day. Because when you look back like, I'm a little tired, I'm a little thirsty, you got to bring your real game every time, because so often people, the moment, hey, you're not doing a good job, what do? Replace you. You don't want to be replaced. Now, does that cause a lot of self-doubt? Oh, you can certainly generate that. But if you're rolling your best at all times as well as you can, then you won't have any doubts simply because that's as good as you can do it. Actually, former President Jimmy Carter has a book out, and it's called Why Not Your Best? And that was his experience in Annapolis of one of his commanders asked, did you do your best? And he said, no. And the commander's, why not? Something to think about.
Why not do your best?
Yeah.
And one of those things, could you imagine who you would be without fear and doubt?
Whoa.
I mean, think of the creativity that could flow, the energy, the joy. I get to do this thing. Yeah. That peace and joy can really lift you up if you don't have that fear and doubt. Just imagine having that. And the more you imagine it, the more you'll become that way. Less fear and doubt. I've made films where I actually had to contact congressmen and interview them, something I had never done before. But I pressed forward with it. It all came out terrific. Without fear and doubt, you move forward. And I just love that phrase, I get to do it. I get to do these things. And sometimes it seemed overwhelming at times. I'd have to be filming a group of kids someplace I'd never been before by a group of professionals I'd never met before. And having to set up everything, having to get everything together, having to interview and make that happen. But I pressed forward. I got to do that. I look back on it. It was so much fun and so much joy because I overcame that fear and doubt.
And that leads us into our next point of raise your self-awareness. All people are really bad at initially evaluating their own circumstances. We get into bad relationships, bad jobs, bad financial things, bad health decisions, and I'm going to eat out every day. Oh, nothing could go wrong with that. Your health, your gut line, your waistline, and your bank account will go in the tank. But also that self-awareness of that negative thinking that starts spiraling in and taking control. I'm never going to get this book done. I'll never be able to fix my car. I'll never. No, the only reason you'll never do it is one, because you're saying you'll never do it and that's the only thing you're doing. And two, you're programming your brain to make it never happen. You simply say, hey, self, I think I can do this, or I believe I can do this. It's going to take me a long time to achieve this. But as I start chiseling away towards this goal, I'll get there. It might take me a long time, but you will make it.
That reminds me of a short saying, how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time.
Yum, elephant.
So stop asking for validation.
Oh my gosh.
You can drive yourself crazy. You're calling out people, getting in circles. What do you think? What should I do? And it isn't long before you're just paralyzed by it.
Yeah.
There are many times and for many reasons people are not going to give you validation. They're either afraid for you, or they're jealous of you, or they just don't understand it. So you're asking for validation and you don't get it and you don't do anything. Press forward. Get with it. That's what you learn from. You can learn from mistakes and things that don't work out, because the next time you do it, you'll be another step above. So always press forward with your ideas and your thoughts and learn and improve. And don't worry about that validation. Just press on.
And that leads us into our next point. Consider how bad it would be if all of your thoughts were true. Ooh. So if all these negative thoughts were actually true that roll through your mind, I'm ugly, I'm incapable, I can't run, I'm uneducated. Really? Is that really true? I can't make good films. I can't film congressmen. I can't film or congresswomen or people or senators or the president or somebody who sweeps the street. The self-obsession we have with these destructive thoughts, what if they were actually true? Well, no, I'm educated. I went to school. I got graduate degrees. I'm clearly making a video that I posted on YouTube. And actually, if you go through it, that's amazingly complex, right? Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe I'm not as dumb as I think, right? Yeah. So think, wait, these thoughts, they're absurd. This makes no sense whatsoever. So just do that reverse analysis of, that's not true. Come on, get over it.
Reminds me, I had the great privilege of attending film school for several classes with Aaron here.
Yeah.
And the first class, everybody's thinking, wow, I'm going to get to make movies. I'm going to be famous. The place is packed wall to wall with people and an instructor going over the basics. The next semester we come back, I think there was 3 people there.
Yeah. The reality.
They found out it was work.
Oh.
But you get to do it. Remember that. So trust your values here. Think about that. What are your values? Are they positive? Are they assured? Are they a good thing? I do a lot of work in the Boy Scouts of America, and we follow the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. And it's loaded with values, and each Scout has to learn what they mean. And what do they mean to them, and how they treat their work and how they treat others. Your values can be from your religious base. Mine being Christian, I'm very sure of what those values are, and it may be the same for you in another area. So trust in those values. Be sure they're certain, that they're true, they're fruitful and good, and then just press forward.
And that brings us to the thought of one of the best techniques of overcoming self-doubt is replace exaggerated negative thoughts with positive statements. All these things that churn through your head, I'm not good looking, I'm incapable, there's no way I'm going to make enough money, on and on and on. As long as you have those churning in your head, that crowds out positive statements that can actually make a great change in your life and move you forward to your next destination. You want to be there. You want to literally take a bucket of positive statements and pour them into the world. Now, of course, there's the classic positive statement, I'm absolutely positive I won't succeed, or I am unable. Ha ha ha, right? I'm positive that is not possible. That's fine. Am I going to be able to jump vertically 30 feet? No, stupid. But the positive statement, hey, do I have the ability to jump and play? I played volleyball in high school. I didn't have the greatest hops, but I was an incredible defensive player. That was my great skill. And as soon as I realized I'm terrible on the front line, but man, I can keep my team in the game by preventing kills, man, things got so much better. And when I did make mistakes, it was okay. I got over it.
And that brings us to forgive yourself. You're not perfect. You're a fallible human being, working to do the best you can where you're at in the world. Press on. I think of Edison, and there was always that story about him and the light bulb, and he said, well, I learned how not to make a light bulb 999 ways until he came to the one that worked. So that's how it is. You press on, you make mistakes, you fail at things, but forgive yourself. Move on, get up, brush off, and think, oh gosh, I learned 10 things today, and I'm going to improve on those things, and how I can be better, and how I can be better for others. That's so important. Don't be afraid to forgive yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that we've completed now our 3-part series on overcoming self-doubt and how to help get past negative thinking. I hope these have all helped you just to feed you some tidbits to hopefully improve your life and give you some strength for getting past self-doubt. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker.
And I'm Timothy Linsdau, video producer and a Christian. No more stinking thinking. Get out there and make it a great day.
Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment our video, and support us on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon.
Yes, thank you for watching.